Views, they said. And they were right. From the north. Morning.
Morning.
From the south. From the east. And from the west. In fact, wherever you are in this city, the People's Stadium dominates the people. 40,000 tonnes of concrete, 12,000 tonnes of steel, 72,500 seats, all nutted and bolted together by 800 workmen. But any rugby stadium built at the Arms Park is about more than just concrete, glass and steel. It's about passion, heritage, inspiration, about building a temple for the followers and a fortress to set against the opposition. The Millenium Stadium will be both, as was the old National Stadium. But will it be truly a people's stadium? Now that's something worth remembering about the old place we've left behind.
From Wembley, back home to here. Well, it's never been said before. Go on.
Welcome to the Millenium Stadium.
Yeah, the first ever test match at, well, it is something special. The new ground at Cardiff, the Millenium Stadium, and the first test match, Wales against South Africa.
Yeah, it's been a long, hard season for the boys, but one last big effort, and you know, the stadium is fantastic. It's half full, and you know, I can't imagine what it's going to be like in October.
It's amazing, isn't it? The first home game coming at the end of 5 games away from home, and I include England at Wembley as an away game. Beating England in London, I think, is an away achievement. And of course, 5 on the trot, 5 wins on the trot, and then you have to face at home the world champions.
Well, you do want to play against South Africa to open this stadium. It is a big ask of them. Everyone's looking at the last result in Wembley, but I think it's a bigger challenge this time because roles have been reversed. Now Wales are tired and South Africa are fresh going into the Super 12s. So it's a big ask for the boys to come through this game.
Of course, South Africa have just completed a 2-test series against Italy. They won the last one by 101 points to 0.
Then again, we beat them. We scored 69 points against them in Italy.
My boy, I see you're in optimistic mood today. Anyway. After those 2 tests, of course, the Springboks arrive here with their coach, Nick Mallett, and he's been talking with Graham Thomas.
Well, with me now is the South African coach, Nick Mallett. Nick, how much of an honour is it for you and the players to be here today to open this stadium?
Oh, it's fantastic. We felt we were invited for this occasion, I think, a year ago, and as the current holders of the World Cup, I think that Wales probably looked to us to open the stadium because of what that 1995 side did, really. But I'm very proud of the way that our side has played last year in '98, and we're really looking forward to this game. We'd like it to be a celebration of the opening of a fantastic stadium.
You've been out on the pitch. What do you make of it?
That's brilliant. We have problems with pitches in South Africa, but this one seems to be laid in 2 weeks, and it's in absolutely perfect condition. I'd love to play here in summer all the time instead of having to come at the end of the year.
And these conditions, nice and warm, should suit you.
They're perfect. This is, as I said, I don't think anyone's going to battle today with the heat. We've got a nice cloud cover, but it's warm. You guys will build up a nice sweat, and the ball's dry, so hopefully we'll see both teams really playing some good attacking rugby.
Nick, thanks very much.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thanks.
Nick Mallett talking there. Just the backdrop of this stadium, it's like something out of the San Siro. It is a continental masterpiece, isn't it?
Well, as the picture showed, on the opening shots, it's just incredible. Everywhere you go in Cardiff, you can see it. It's the highlight of the whole city,
There it is, just like the San Siro, but of course it's ours, and it's here in Cardiff. 27,500 people here today. That is under half full. every seat, though, has a sensational view, and that the intimacy is so good, isn't it? That you're not far away from the action.
That's the important thing. When you look at Twickenham and even Wembley and on Murrayfield, they've built the stands away from the pitch, and you know, has taken a bit of you know, the passion away from the occasion. But now it's you know, the big thing as well, it's in the city centre, and it's fantastic. You know, it's when, like I said, when it's finished, just look at that now.
Just look how close the crowd is to the pitch there. Watching England play against Australia this morning in the new Olympic Stadium in Sydney, there's a running track between the action and the crowd. But here in Cardiff, you are as close as you can be.
And I think that's what everybody was scared of, losing. You know, the intimacy of the whole stadium, and I think they've kept that now. And as you said, this is the best stadium in the world. I thoroughly enjoyed the old Cardiff Arms Park, but and there were a few sceptics when they said they were knocking it down. But this is a fantastic stadium. Yeah,
you cannot knock the stage, but of course the action is all important. And Wales have been preparing. They've come back from their tour to Argentina. Very successful it was too. Now they face South Africa. Team manager David Pickering has been talking with Graham.
Well, with me now is David Pickering, the Wales team manager. David, I understand we've got something of a delay. How will that affect the players?
Well, it's not positive, but we try and manage it as positively as we possibly can. We've just been told about it. The players are expecting to come out in the next 3 or 4 minutes. So we try and react to it, and we try and make it as positive as we can, really. Steve Black's in there keeping them on their toes as we speak, and just keeping the adrenaline going, and just to keep the enthusiasm there, because they're really busting to get out to the doors, you can imagine now, Graham. But you know, safety has got to come first. It's a major sporting event, and we all appreciate that the safety of the public has got to be a major priority.
Only 27,000 in here today, but already there's a superb atmosphere.
This stadium is the greatest rugby stadium in the world, and when it's full, people will come from far and wide to experience the Millenium Stadium experience, because it's truly unbelievable. It's a wonderful atmosphere. The surface is absolutely superb, and it's very positive for proactive rugby and positive rugby, and that will be good for us, good for Wales.
Now, a week ago, Graham Henry described this as a ludicrous fixture. The players aren't thinking that today, are they?
No. It's probably one that we could have done without, taking on the world champions with a 95% success rate after 10 months of hard rugby. But the challenge is in front of them, and they're determined to do well. But as Graham has said in the past, it's probably one we'd rather have done without.
They've come off a wonderful victory against Italy, 100 points last week. Even though they're without some leading players, they look as if they're hitting form again.
Oh yes, they're very focused. We've done our homework on them, and they are indeed very determined. A side doesn't get the label of the best rugby team in the world for nothing. They've shown over the last 4 or 5 years what a great team they really are. And they've got bags of experience in their side, and they'll be a most formidable challenge. I'm sure the Welsh rugby public in Wales realise that.
David, thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Graham.
Back to you, Eddie.
David Pickering there with Graham Thomas. It always amazes me with Di Pick. He manages to put the word positive about 4 times into every sentence.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, you've got Steve Black and of course Graham. Everything's positive. The self-belief is back. But there is a high confidence factor in this Welsh side. But
well, except that they're saying they don't want this game.
Well, I think it's, you know, Graham plays a great game on and off the field. He plays the media very, very well. You know, he says it's a ludicrous game. If they lose, he can say, well, you know, I said it was a ludicrous game.
Positively ludicrous.
I know. The one redeeming factor is it's only been a fortnight since they played the last test. There hasn't been a huge break between the 2 tests, you know, the last and this one. So, no, they've had time to relax, back into it for a week. But again, this is a totally different challenge. If you look at the South African side, you know, the backs that they have are huge. The 2 centres are huge. The outside half on Straaten is huge. And, you know, they are coming here to win without a shadow of a doubt.
It's not, you know, you look at Yapi Mulder and Peter Muller. They're not they're very physical and they're very mean, but they're actually not the most creative centres.
They're not creative, and neither is Van Straaten, the outside half. You know, he's a kicker. He's brought the kicker in to take the pressure off maybe you know, off Montgomery. But you look at those 2 wingers, Tablanche and Rousseau are 2 of the finest finishers in the world, especially Tablanche. He's been superb since he came on the scene. I think they're going to play, you know, a very forward-orientated game. They're going to do everything, you know, to the centres. Everybody's going to come back. Swanepoel is there. He's a tremendous team player, a better rugby player, I feel, than
Van der West is.
Van der West is.
That's some statement.
You know, he's more of an athlete, you know, and he comes good when they need him. But this guy makes players play around him. And, you know, he'll be very, very effective, especially with Erasmus as well and Teichmann.
I just can't get over that view of the stand, of the stadium. I just think it takes rugby in the world into a new dimension, really. And you know, as a setting for the World Cup, this is only a preamble to the World Cup. And when it's done, look at that.
When people, when people see these on television all over the world now, it takes your breath away, and you can imagine what it's going to look like on October the 1st when they play against Argentina. I'd hate to be in Argentina's shoes when they come here on October the 1st to play against the host nation in front of 80,000 people. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. If we can just have a look at the pitch, the surface, it looks just an immaculate carpet there. But when you look closely, it's a series of very small squares laid on pallets.
I was on it on Tuesday afternoon, and very, very strange because there's only half a pitch, and they were putting the pallets into place, and the pitch is very, very hard. It's all on wooden pallets with a couple of inches of dirt, and then the grass. It is quite hard, and it'll be a very, very fast surface, and if anything, it'll suit the South Africans because they're used to playing on these hard surfaces.
Nonsense. We're used to playing in Buenos Aires and on the grounds of Argentina.
But you look at the grass, you can't see the square. It's a fantastic pitch. It's unbelievable.
And of course it's a new experience for all the fans coming here. The outside of the stadium will be just as impressive as the inside. And beyond the bowling green, the fans have been coming in.
Well, the whole thing is amazing. You look at the inside, but walking into the place on the walkways, coming down the streets, I'm sure these people, Wembley was a fantastic experience.
That's the test, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a fantastic experience, but to come home to Cardiff, as I said, you can't beat it. And when you walk in, you come which way you come, in by bus, train, taxi, you can see it from miles and miles away, and then you come into the stadium. It's fantastic.
I actually went back 40 years when I used to walk in to the old stadium, and when I'd come up the outside stairs to look at the grass, the old tears would show. Great it is.
The fans love it. I suppose one of the aspects of this, Jonathan, is that there was a lot of criticism aimed at knocking down the old place and why bother to build a new, and all the money could have been better spent anywhere else. But I say it would only have gone on player wages, which isn't probably the best investment you can make in rugby.
Well, the players would have been a lot happy with that maybe, but Glanmore Griffiths has always said he'll be ready. He'd be a very relieved man and a proud man today, and there he is, Glanmore, walking about.
His baby.
Exactly, look at him, he's walking around, chest out, proud man. Of course, Gareth Edwards and Francois. So it's a task of Watkins again. There was a lot of skeptics when they announced the whole project, but today it's it's a dream come true, I suppose, for Glanmore. It
is indeed. Gareth Edwards and Francois Pienaar. You can't get two bigger names than that about to step onto the new sacred turf.
I know it's. The two most famous rugby players maybe in the world, Francois and Gareth. It's gonna be fantastic, and it's amazing just to sample the atmosphere here. Being up in the stand, it's just an unbelievable experience.
Crowd looks big, doesn't it? You think that it's less than half full, but this roof is such an overhang that the sound is just going to bounce off it, and I imagine down on the field it'll be very difficult to hear line-out signals and calls. You can feel the roar coming off that giant roof.
I just hope that Gareth there's got his hands on the World Cup. Let's hope that in November he'll have. Oh, there he is, well again. He had to turn up somewhere, didn't he? And here he goes.
They're letting any old Ponty riffraff in.
One of his ears has fell off.
That's only the try. We must have the conversion. The first sheep must go over the first bar at the Millenium Stadium.
I think Jinx will be very, very happy if he scores the first try in Wembley. And how many times have we seen this?
No kicking tee for the sheep.
I think he must practice more than maybe Neil does. There he goes. He's a bit close there, mate.
He needs some elevation. He's rehearsed this many times.
What do people think all over the world watching this?
Oh dear, yes.
There he goes.
The first 2 points. Now here's the thing, this is not for people who kick points, otherwise we'd just automatically give it to Neil Jenkins. This is for the first try scorer at the new Millenium Stadium. A ring made of pure Welsh gold.
That's it, and the first try that is scored, you know, will receive the ring, and that's Welsh gold.
And there's some more gold. The World Cup that Francois Pienaar lifted in 1995, handed to him by President Mandela. Francois Pienaar, captain of the Springboks then, now player-coach at Saracens, with the greatest rugby player of all time.
Yeah, I just hope that another Welshman picks the cup up you know, at the start of November, and it'll be fantastic.
Of course, the Millenium Stadium exists to host the final of the World Cup.
I just hope the weather's exactly the same during the World Cup as it is for this match. I think Nick Mallett has said, you know, he's delighted to come over to Cardiff, and in the summer the weather suits, suits every rugby player.
If you can guarantee that we'll have a day like this in November, you truly are one of the greats of the game, Jonathan. Some South Africans have made it. I don't suppose there'll be that many, because the Springboks go home, they have 2 days rest, and then they wing off for the start of the Tri-Nations. So hopefully they're regarding this as their B game.
I think they were caught with the socks down in Wembley, and you know, they were lucky to get away with that result in Wembley against Wales last time. And I think this time they will be very, very positive and be really, really up for it.
Glanmore Griffiths and Sir Tasker Watkins, Chairman and President of the Welsh Rugby Union.
Sir Tasker, you know, he's a real gentleman, one of the best speakers I've ever heard in my life, so now he's going to say a few words.
Tasker Watkins, Victoria Cross, VC.
President of the Welsh Rugby Union, it is a privilege for me to stand upon this unique turf, shortly before the lead of two of the great rugby nations of the world play upon it, and so mark another of the great occasions at the Arms Park. It is altogether fitting that South Africa should be our opponents upon this Welsh homecoming, for they are the only international team never defeated by us, and they at present are world champions. It is also a privilege that standing here beside me are former captains of their country and two of the greatest rugby players in the history of the game, South Africans Francois Pienaar and our own Gareth Edwards. Welcome then, South Africa. They will strive, as always, to keep their record intact. Good luck and thank you for coming. This is an emotional return for Robert Howley and his men. They have done us proudly lately and brought much happiness to the Principality. They have it in them to bring much more this afternoon. Welcome back, Wales. About 119 years ago, the first stand was built here. There were 300 seats in it. It cost £50 to build. The unfinished symphony round about us will eventually cost slightly more. It is one man's realization of a dream. His was the inspiration for its conception. His the driving force in its construction. It is a mighty achievement by this most able former banker, whose name, Glenmore Griffiths, will forever be written into the history of Welsh rugby. Written as the creator of a remarkable stadium, the leading physical features of which will distinguish Cardiff above all other constructions. I now invite him to address you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome home and welcome to your new stadium. I am proud to stand before you today and predict with total confidence that this is the first of many, many great days we will be able to share at the Millenium Stadium. Today's game is the first of 3 homecoming internationals we will be staging before the Rugby World Cup kicks off at this ground in just 3 months' time. South Africa will be returning to defend their title, but I am sure all of us here today hope that our own Robert Howley can follow in the footsteps of the great Francois Pienaar, not only in lifting the magnificent trophy here today, but also in firing the imagination of a whole nation when Wales hosts this year's tournament. One thing is certain, the support for the Welsh team will be second to none. I salute each and every one of you here today and the hundreds of thousands of faithful followers who have trekked to Wembley over the past 2 years to support the Welsh team. Thank you for your loyalty, thank you for your understanding, and thank you for your patience. But the wait to our new home is finally over, and I am certain you will agree it has been well worth waiting for. Just close your eyes and imagine what it will be like when we play Argentina in the opening match of the World Cup in front of 72,500 people. We have had the support from many quarters: the Millennium Commission, Cardiff County Council, Barclays Bank, and above all, the committee and member clubs of the Welsh Rugby Union. We are now the proud owners of the finest stadium in the world. Without the full backing of everyone involved, none of us would be here today. I am delighted to have 2 men with me who have made Welsh Rugby's union dream become a reality. Firstly, David Baird, who is project manager at the Millennium Commission. It was the 46 million they gave us which helped us to start this great project. And I would like to say a personal thank you to the Millennium Commission for their support. We now have a stage fit for a World Cup and much, much more. And that is due in no small measure to the vision, skill and commitment of the workforce of our building contractors, John Lang Construction. Also with me is Trevor Hodges, Lang's project director at the Millennium Stadium, and I would like to thank him and his team for an incredible effort in getting everything ready on time. And we should also show our appreciation for those men who have shed blood, sweat and a few tears in reshaping the famous Old Arms Park over the past 2 years. The workers themselves are in the stands today. Boys, a great thank you for the team effort. Croeso to you all, and once again, welcome to the new home of Welsh rugby. Thank you.
I think it's fair to say, Jonathan, the Millenium Stadium has been opened.
It has opened, and now the real business starts on the field, as we've said. I think, you know, it's a big ask for the boys today.
If you were expecting to see action by now, we have had a 15-minute delay because, well, slightly strangely, the turnstiles have broken down. Teething problems at the new home of Welsh rugby. And here are the first set of visitors. Gary Teichmann leading out the Springboks.
He is a great player, Teichmann, and he wants to win this particular game.
The Springboks enter the Millenium Stadium. Time now to join our match commentators, JJ Williams and Hugh Llewellyn-Davis.
Good afternoon. A lovely summer's day and a momentous, emotional occasion for Welsh rugby. No more doubts, no longer a dream. Today it is reality. The unveiling of what will shortly be the most impressive rugby stadium in the world. And here are the players, the fortunate few, who'll always be able to say, I was there. South Africa field one of their youngest teams ever, average age just 24. Four just gained their first caps against Italy over the past fortnight. Their fly half van Straaten, prop Visagie, lock Selborne Boom and flanker Connor Krieger. Captain last week when they topped 100 points. But plenty of experience as well, Drotsky, Otto and the skipper Teichmann up front. And behind the scrum, the tongue-twisting combination of Muller and Mulder at centre, and the back three full of exciting running talent, Montgomery, Rousseau and Ter Blanche. Ter Blanche, a record 5 tries at Durban just a week ago. And now the 27,000 people at this new Millenium Stadium await the arrival for the first time ever of the Welsh team onto the turf of their new home. And this will be a very special moment for a young man called James Marshall. He is the Welsh mascot today, 12 years of age only, from Trowbridge on the outskirts of Cardiff. The expectant crowd. And Robert Howley and his charges keep everybody waiting just for a few seconds more. And there is the captain of Wales, Robert Howley. And there's that young man, James Marshall. What a tale to tell his grandchildren, that he led out Wales in the famous red jersey for their first ever match at this stadium. Now they have been spotted by this hugely enthusiastic crowd in Cardiff. And what a reception for the side who've won their last 5 matches on the trot. That's some record recently for Welsh rugby. Wales have a settled side these days, just 2 changes from the second test in Argentina. Colin Jarvis is back in at number 6 for Geraint Lewis, and David Young at 3 for the unlucky Ben Evans. That's the first change in 6 games to the Welsh front 5. Behind, still no Scott Gibbs, so Taylor and Bateman remain together at centre. And yet another milestone for Neil Jenkins. Today, his 50th cap at outside half, his 67th overall. 16th game in charge for Robert Howley, and he's won 10 of 15 so far. The stadium still not completed, of course. In a way, that's a pity, as it's shown to the world for the first time. But as Max Boyce once famously said, JJ Williams, it'll be nice when it's finished.
Exactly. But what an atmosphere we have here. the welcome the side ran on to the pitch was quite amazing, really, considering it's only a third full, 27,000 people here. Conditions are amazing, really. This is, as Jonathan said quite rightly, the greatest rugby stadium in the world. Playing conditions, perfect.
And for the first time at this new stadium, the national anthems are to be played. The dual anthem of South Africa, the old traditional Khoza hymn, Kosi Sikeleli Africa, God Bless Africa, followed by the Afrikaans die Stem. And now, the traditional anthem of Wales, Hen Wlad van Hadau. The singing of 27,000 people, led enthusiastically by the Royal Regiment of Wales TA Band and the Aber Valley Male Voice Choir. Well, that sent a tingle down the spine, JJ. What will happen when we'll have the massed choir of 72,000 voices here in the autumn?
Yes, I bet Argentina are looking forward to that, aren't they, when they open the World Cup and they play Wales on the 1st of October. A fantastic atmosphere, fantastic conditions. You cannot get a better set in, and this is Judgment Day. We've been saying that Wales have improved so much. Well, this is the time to prove it against the best team in the world. Apparently, South Africa said they got a few changes, but to me, it's still a strong team. Strength and depth in South Africa, and let's see how we can compete against the world's best.
The man in charge today is Ed Morrison of England. That's a welcome sight for South Africa, of course. He was the referee when they had their greatest triumph and lifted the World Cup at Ellis Park in Johannesburg. That was back in 1995. Not such a welcome sight for Wales, perhaps, because Ed Morrison was in charge when they lost at Murrayfield in the Five Nations and caused some consternation with the way he interpreted the line-out law. So a new chapter is about to open at what's been the home of rugby myths and legends for a century and more. And who more appropriate than Neil Jenkins, 50th cap at outside half today, the man who holds every record in the book for Wales, who gets it underway at the end of a millennium. There's a new start and a new home for Welsh rugby. That's Swanepoel back to Bram van Straaten, their normal halfbacks amongst some half a dozen leading players missing from the South African lineup today. Van der Westhuizen and Honeyball both at home nursing some minor injuries, as are Andy Snyman, Andre Snyman the centre, and forwards such as Adrian Garvey, Mark Andrews and Bobby Skinstad. Good first line out for Wales. That was Chris Wyatt. And this is Peter Rogers, a special day for him. He made his name as a rugby player out in South Africa, had aspirations to become a Springbok, and it's the surge of Peter Rogers, who played for the Transvaal, that's given Wales a golden opportunity in the opening minute.
Well, a great line out, and what a fantastic take by Mark Taylor. Neil Jenkins was under tremendous pressure from Krieger, the wing forward, who tackled him hard. In fact, I thought tackled him late. Got that pass out to Taylor, who set it up in midfield, and now Wales have won the penalty, and this would be a welcome 3 points. As you can see, the South African hands going all over the place there, giving the penalty away, and this should be a simple 3 points for Neil Jenkins. Good start by Wales.
Neil Jenkins has now crossed 800 points in international rugby, 762 for Wales and 41 for the Lions in their triumph in South Africa. So Gary Teichmann and his men are sick and tired of seeing this sight. Neil Jenkins lining up a kick at goal, and the inevitable result, it's straight between the posts, and Wales have taken the lead within 2 minutes of the opening of the new stadium.
Well, there's a warning to the Springboks. I mean, Teichmann and the coach and Nick Mal have told him about the danger of Neil Jenkins to be disciplined, and the first minute of the game they showed indiscipline, and that's a welcome 3 points for Wales.
Bram van Straaten restarts, and that's a welcome sight for Wales. A safe take of the restart. It was Colin Jarvis reinstated at number 6. The switch is between Jenkins and Bateman, and Howley's ball. Wyatt lurking out. Scott Quinnell is outside the Welsh lock. I hate to mention it, JJ, but it's a year to the day, more or less, when Wales lost by that record score in Pretoria. That was on June 27 last year. So the corresponding Saturday. But only 3 of the Welsh team played on that occasion. They were David James and Mark Taylor in three-quarter line, and Colin Jarvis up front. So that's the change that's come over Welsh rugby in Graham Henry's reign.
Well, it's been a remarkable 12 months, and this is an excellent start by Wales. Ball retention very good so far.
Wales got the opening 3 points in Pretoria as well, so we won't read too much into the opening penalty by Neil Jenkins.
Yes, but you can tell by the start of this game that Wales are up for it. Scrimmage was rock solid there. Springboks coming offside in that line-out, and Ed Morrison being fussy, as all international refs are at the start of an international game.
Scrummaging power is one aspect of play that's improved remarkably for Wales, be it Ben Evans at tight head or the more experienced David Young, as we see today. And Jenkins' kick has taken Wales right up into the Springbok 22.
And as Wales come into the line-out late again.
Interesting, it's been allowed so far by Ed Morrison. Howley, midfield is Taylor. Taylor slips it well to Brett Sinkinson. Wales have lost it in contact, and this is Springbok ball. That's Swanepoel. Swanepoel being chased all around the park by Mark Taylor. Wales applying the pressure, but the Springboks keeping their composure. Ed Morrison. Now what has the referee spotted here? Well, Scott Quinnell, the blonde-haired Scott Quinnell, the culprit. Was it a late tackle there by Scott Quinnell, I wonder, in midfield? And Ed Morrison will have none of that.
It's interesting to see the Springboks wanted to, instead of giving it the big kick down the field, wanted to bring the ball back up the field by hand. Wales got to watch if they lose the ball in midfield, no matter what part of the field, they will counter-attack.
Here's the vital man for Wales in these lineouts, but it's taken easily there by Cryno Otto. Otto wears 5 of the Springboks. Young Selborne Boom is his partner today in the absence of Mark Andrews, the vastly experienced Mark Andrews. But some doubts are cast whether Andrews will make the side for the World Cup. They are changing times in South Africa as well. That's Van Straaten. He's built like a barn door. He looks more like a back row forward than an outside half. That's Bram Van Straaten, who plays for Western Province and the Stormers in Super 12. As a matter of fact, half the Springbok side come from that province and from that team, the Stormers.
Well, the midfield trio are all very, very sturdy men, aren't they? Muller, Mulder and Van Straaten. Excellent defenders, no doubt, but they got so much pace out wide from this midfield. But it's been a big job for Bateman, Taylor and Neil Jenkins to defend against these big Springboks.
And the two wing three-quarters aren't midgets either, JJ. It seems to be no norm these days that you've got to have a wing three-quarter standing at some 6'4", and that's what Peter Rousseau does. A little like Bartolucci, who we saw in Argentina over the past month.
Yes, but our wingers are big men as well, aren't they? Gareth Thomas and David James. I think Terre Blanche and Rousseau are a little bit quicker than our wingers, but it's a test for us today to see how the Welsh boys can compete against these flying Springbok wingers.
Craig Quinnell repaired. Ed Morrison satisfied. He ran the line when the two sides met at Wembley, incidentally, back in November. First chance for the Springboks, and that's Cryno Otto. Swanepoel. You heard Jonathan say that he thinks Swanepoel's a better team player than Van der Westhuizen. People in Pretoria would argue the case, I'm sure, but he certainly is an accomplished understudy for one of the best scrum halves in world rugby, the best individually talented scrum halves in world rugby indeed. And this will be interesting to see as well, because Bram Van Straaten has publicly acknowledged that he's based his kicking style purely on Neil Jenkins of Wales. Now then, the offence and the chance for South Africa.
Yeah, Scott Quinnell was over the top then, and I think his brother Craig came over the top. Hands in the ruck as well. And Ed Morrison has been very strict early on in this game. But you see Drosky peeling from the front of the line, big strong man, the hooker for the Springboks. Plenty of pace as well.
You see that Van Straaten has placed the ball at an angle, just as Jenkins does. It's a slightly more acute angle as well for Van Straaten, and the preparation is identical. And the result is exactly the same, straight between the posts. So Van Straaten brings South Africa level, 8 minutes played, and it's 3 points apiece. Just his second cap, the outside half, he scored 10 points, 5 conversions in that remarkable victory by 101 points to 0 at Durban a week ago against the unfortunate Italians. Howarth with Quinnell lurking with him. He's a great counter-attacker, Shane Howarth. South Africa went over the top. The crowd saw it first, then Ed Morrison. And this could be within range again for Neil Jenkins. 6 meters inside the opposition half and 15 in from touch.
You see Kempson, the big prop, comes straight over the top there on that tackle on Shane Howarth. He's so good at the counter-attack, he likes to bring the ball back up. Scott Quinnell was back to help him out, but Kempson gave the obvious penalty away, and the crowd let the referee know that, didn't they? He takes the ball here, always wants to run. Watch the sidestep coming up of him off his left foot, coming inside the man there. And there's Kempson, the prop, diving straight over the top, and that's an obvious penalty.
Thank goodness Shane Howarth found a grandfather from Cardiff as well, because without him we'd be very thin on the ground as far as the number 15 shirt is concerned in Wales. There's no obvious backup, especially with Kevin Morgan injured at the moment.
Yes, the strength and depth was exposed out in Argentina, so that's what Graham Henry will be working on this summer.
Second chance for Jenkins. Much more difficult, this. Oh, but he struck it well. That looks promising. Straight and true. It's a wonderful kick by Jenkins, and Wales regain their lead. It's 6-3 to the red shirts.
Well, he's got his ticking boots on once again, as if he's never got them on. Remarkable kick. As soon as he strikes the ball, you can tell, and he knows, he turns away straight away. 3 points.
That's well contested by the Springboks, but well controlled by Wales, but it went forward. Went forward from Chris Wyatt's hand, and it was spot on from Van Straaten, giving his forwards every chance.
But the Achilles heel for the Welsh team all season, when in fact for the last few seasons, has been the collection of the kick-out. Again, that was poor by Wales.
Robbie Kempson, Naka Drotsky and Kopis Visachi packed together in that front row for South Africa, and early indications that they might be under some pressure from this remarkable Welsh front row. What a transformation since Garen Jenkins, Peter Rogers and Ben Evans were elevated, although Evans left out today for the more experienced David Young. It's been a glorious summer's day in Cardiff. This is where the offence occurred. There they go down in the front row, and Ed Morrison had no hesitation at all. I mentioned the glorious day, but now, unfortunately, the rain has come, and the retractable roof is not working yet at this new stadium. Springboks moving forward, and that's ball lost for Wales.
Well, that just shows how ferocious the Springboks are in the tackle to knock Scott Quinnell back when he's on his drive there. Didn't get a lot of momentum upon his drive, but they pushed him back, and now the Springboks have the put-in and the scrum.
There's the rain, and that's where the roof will be. Well, Wales patently offside there as the scrum wheeled around. How on earth can a second row forward become detached in a set scrum, as Craig Quinnell did then?
But there's a huge battle going on in those scrums. Wales not intimidated by the Springboks at all, taking the game to them in the scrum. It is a messy scrum, isn't it, really? And Wales have turned right around as Craig Quinnell is penalised breaking too soon there. But it wasn't a good solid scrum for the Springboks either, was it?
Naka Drotsky. Selbone Boom is number 4, but it goes to Teichmann. Teichmann, who has a special place in his career for games against Wales. He gained his first cap against Wales back in '95. He scored a try on his debut. He captained them to the then record score of 96 points last year. And then, of course, he had the honour of being the first to tread in earnest on this new turf at the Millenium Stadium in Cardiff. Well, the early scrums are very untidy, and Colin Jarvis was penalised then, I think. And first flare-up. Scott Quinnell is appealing to the far touchline where Joël Doumet of France is carrying the flag. David McHugh of Ireland is near side, and perhaps he's seen what happened, what ignited that flare-up.
Well, we saw them in Argentina. These Welsh boys aren't afraid to mix it, taking the game to the Springboks. It was very interesting in that last line out that Teichmann caught that ball, but they couldn't drive on him, and it was Wales who won the ball from Teichmann, even though it was there put in the line out. What an atmosphere here.
It is incredible to think that there are just 27,000 people And there will be 3 times as many people when this stadium is completed. Well, the lecture from Ed Morrison was clear for all to hear. He's told both captains to spend 10 seconds with their sides, cool them down. Are we having a game of celebration as it's meant to be, or a war of attrition?
Well, I think here we could have brought this scrum back a bit sooner, but the scrum had turned. But the referee didn't blow his whistle, so he's quite right to dive in there. I thought he was slow with the whistle then.
Well, it's strange. I heard Ed Morrison say that the initial penalty against the Springboks would stand, but he seemed to indicate there that the penalty was against Wales at the base of the initial scrum. Jenkins, who's been brilliant with his throwing and finding Chris Wyatt, and that's a magnificent leap by Wyatt. And his legs were taken underneath him. That's a dangerous ploy in a line-out, and it always deserves the penalty that goes against it.
Well, that was quite a remarkable line-out, because Chris Wyatt, you see that, came into that line-out so late, really, and outstanding throwing by Jenkins to find him. And of course, this man is so athletic. He's up in the air for ages. Look at that. He's up there waiting for that ball. That's fabulous skills, and you can see the legs are taken away from him. That is a penalty.
Magnificent athleticism. He's a versatile sportsman, Chris Wyatt. He played football till he was 18 years of age, didn't play rugby at all till going to college, and he's a volleyball international, so that shows his ball handling skills and his agility as well.
On that night in Loftus Westfield 12 months ago, I remember Robert Howley getting hold of him and saying, if you only train harder, you could be the best second row forward in the world. I remember him saying that night, and of course he is turning out to be one of the best in the world.
Remarkable 12 months, and just been appointed, by the way, just been voted the Player of the Year in Wales. That's Chris Wyatt. Jenkins has turned his back. That means the kick is there. He hardly had a look. He turned on his heel immediately, and that's 3 out of 3 for Jenkins, and a 9 points to 3 lead for Wales. Just made the 10 metres. Percy Montgomery for the first time, and he slipped out of Alan Bateman's tackle. Now that doesn't happen very often. Werner Swanepoel searching. It's out to Selborne Boom.
As you say, it's not often to see Alan Bateman, but just head on really, and I think the angles are wrong for him. Just hitting with his shoulder and just bounced off. But this Montgomery is a slick player, tremendously strong and fast.
When he first came on the scene, he was just about 11.5 stone, JJ. He's really built his body up, but some seem to think he's lost some of his dazzling skills as he's developed his upper body strength.
Well, when the Springboks start going forward, he is their main attacking force. But this is a big blow with Craig Quinnell going off.
Brings Mike Foyle on for Wales. That's the end of Craig Quinnell. And Mike Foyle is on to gain his 17th cap. His 5th consecutively now as a replacement. Regular in the Welsh team, Mike Foyle, until he was dropped for the summer tour in South Africa last year. And he's been on the fringes ever since. That's a good scrum for Wales and enables Scott Quinnell to pick up and burst forward from the base. Howley, well, he wanted it quickly and Ed Morrison wouldn't agree. And that's because David McHugh wants to come in and have a word.
Well, that's a pity that Robert couldn't get away with that, because he wanted the extra 10 metres, which would have put it in distance for Neil Jenkins. Another pot at goal. Oh, what a fantastic drive by Scott Quinnell, taking 3 men out there.
And he wants a word with Robbie Kempson. Penalty Wales.
Look at Quinnell, look at how many players he takes out. The back row man, he drives out the outside half and the inside centre. Number 12, Xabi Mulder, has to come in for him. Look how strong he is.
Lovely kick by Jenkins. And the well set scrummage is again so encouraging. Swanepoel. That's Rassie Erasmus wearing 7, engulfed by the Welsh tacklers. Wales moving forward, so they regain the ball. Midway through the opening half, JJ, and it's very, very promising so far.
Well, it's not the free-flowing game we would expect. It's a forward battle, and dare I say the Wales at the moment are winning that forward battle.
Quinnell again. Now Wales had 3-2 outside him, and Quinnell slipped that quickly, holding on after the tackle, and again a little difference of opinion far side. This, of course, the third challenge today between the giants of the Southern Hemisphere and traditionally the best from the Northern, because earlier New Zealand demolished France, scored 50 points against them for the first time, and then Australia had victory against England, 22 points to 15. So can Wales uphold the pride of Europe against those giants from the other side of the world here today?
It was a mistake, Quinnell, picking this ball up, because the scrum wasn't going forward enough. You could see him, he's holding on to that ball. It's a correct decision. He should have let it go, but of course he was on his own there. That's why he held on to it.
Van Straaten. Over the top. That was Conor Krieger. Just his second cap today. Remarkable man, 1 cap for South Africa. He was captain on that occasion, and they scored 100 points. Not bad for one afternoon's work.
But that pass of Van Straaten was so flat, wasn't it? But Sinkinson up. What an outstanding season he has. As he's taken, as Van Straaten was taking the ball, Sinkinson was tackling him.
The Josh Kronfeld of Welsh rugby, and he comes from the same neck of the woods, of course, from New Zealand. Wyatt soaring high, lovely one-handed take. Jenkins out. Inside comes David James. He's up to the 22. He wants to erase those bitter memories of a year ago. He, along with Mark Taylor and Colin Jarvis, the 3 here today, who suffered total humiliation just 12 months ago at Pretoria at the Loftus Versfeld.
Yes, but without Scott Gibbs there, the Wales are going to use their 2 big wings, David James and Gareth Thomas, to do the punching down the middle. But that wasn't fast enough then, he didn't come in enough at pace.
Again, Quinnell to try and cross that gate line. It's Howley's ball, or it should be Howley's ball. No knock on. Peter Rogers. Back to Sinkinson. Now it's Howarth. Wales have no full-back. He's up in the attack, and now it's Scott Quinnell. All the Welshmen are clustered together there as Rogers goes again. Howley out. Gareth Thomas sensibly looks for a route down the middle. There was nobody on his outside on the right. Hanging on after the tackle. But Wales are controlling things territorially in this opening 25 minutes.
That was good defending by the Springboks. They just spread across the field, and Wales had to go down the middle.
Lovely left boot of Percy Montgomery.
There's Gareth Thomas, no other way really, but straight down the middle. He's a big, strong man, but again, he held on to the ball. Trying to get it back, but you can see Springboks there's trying to rip it off him, but it is a penalty, hasn't let it go. Correct decision.
There's Gary Teichmann saying in training midweek how lovely it was to be in Wales in summer. And now the rain has come on the afternoon, although it has abated again. That's a loose pass. Can Wales profit? Frustration by Wales because it was just about coming back as Ed Morrison blew his whistle.
Yes, I thought Alan Bateman was held back there when he wanted to fly kick that ball through. Thought it was obstruction against the Springboks.
Howley and Garen Jenkins has done his work, but the scrum has gone down again. They first met in 1906, these two countries. This is the 13th game, and Wales have never ever beaten South Africa. They've been trying for almost a century, but the closest they came was a 6-all draw back in 1970. South Africa have won the other. It is Montgomery.
Good decision making by Neil Jenkins. The Springboks are spread out across the field. 3 points there would have been really welcome. Good decision making. Didn't quite get the direction he wanted.
Mike Boyle's ball uncontested. Chavez hit back. Rogers again. He normally makes some ground, Peter Rogers, with the ball in hand. Not that time. And it's sprung out to Nakadrotsky. Yapi Bulda changing the direction of the attack. And now it's Rassie Erasmus, head down, driving forward. Good body angle. And it's a penalty to South Africa. Get out of the way quicker. That's the message.
But it's the tackling of the Springboks so deadly, isn't it? We saw the turnover and that ball popped up there. When Chavez took that ball earlier, charging across the field, the tacklers were knocking him back on Wales. Even when Peter Rogers charged, still didn't get over that gain line. That's the difference with playing against the Southern Hemisphere countries, that the tackling is so much more ferocious than you see in Europe. Well, I can only think it's Voyle holding on to the man there, just diving on. He didn't play the ball, but he was holding on to the tackler.
Get away quicker was the message from Ed Morrison. Another man who plays for Western Province now and the Stormers, although he's from the Blue Bulls country, from Transvaal, from Northern Transvaal in fact. Born and bred Pretoria, that's Bram van Straaten. Both goal kickers are spot on so far. 2 for Van Straaten, 3 for Neil Jenkins. So Wales still lead 9 points to 6 with 7 minutes to go to half time. Well played, Wales. Well, that's unfortunate. The original work was done well by Chris Wyatt. He tapped the ball back on the Welsh side, but it went to no one. Quickly taken line out. Peter Rousseau spins it out in midfield. Erasmus lost it. This is Chavez. Here's a chance. Bateman couldn't get it to David James, and that's the most clear-cut opportunity so far of the opening 34 minutes.
But that was great defending by Rousseau. You could see there was an overlap there. Watch, Bateman tries to get this ball out here, but the tackle coming in, knocks it out of his hands. He goes, this he was coming in, shoulder charge. He couldn't quite have the time and the space to get that ball to David James.
They're certainly in trouble in the set scrum. And who would have thought that 12 months ago? They haven't got Ollie Leroux, they haven't got Oz Durant, they haven't got Adrian Garvey.
And it's a hallmark of South African rugby. Over the years, they've always based the game on a strong scrimmage. You disrupt the scrimmage, you can beat them. And that is what is happening this afternoon in the Millenium Stadium.
Teichmann can't believe it. The first cap came for him against Wales in September of '95 after the World Cup, after Francois Pienaar had given up. As South Africa's captain, Teichmann stepped in as number 8 and adopted the leading role as well. And he is now the leading cap winner in South African history with 41 today. That's his 35th as captain, incidentally. Here comes Jenkins. No. And the groan of disappointment is echoing round this skeleton stadium in Cardiff. David Pickering checking with a fellow former international flank forward there, Alan Carter. Alan Carter is now statsman for Wales. Both sides taking their lineouts quickly. Montgomery isolated, and that slipped away. Now they do say Percy Montgomery is under pressure for his place, and the reserve outside half on this tour, Hafi du Toit, has been mentioned as a possible fullback for the Springboks. One wonders whether he might be employed at a later stage this afternoon. That's Quinnell Senior, Scott. Jenkins with dancing shoes on. Rogers slipped away from Erasmus. Now then, Howarth is up. Gareth Thomas is there. Held by Swanepoel, but only just. Well-timed run by Alan Bateman. And Wales are swarming towards this loose ball, and they'll get their penalty. And South Africa have been on the rack for long periods in this opening half.
Well, Wales are winning all their line-outs, and then they're putting together half a dozen phases of play, and that is the important part in top rugby. As you're patient in your build-up, you either wait for the penalty or wait for the overlap. And the penalties are coming. Bateman, beautifully timed run from a deep position. He sets the ball back, but the Springboks are playing the ball on the ground. You can see the hands in there, and Ed Morrison is quite right to once again award the penalty to Wales.
What was a glorious midday is now a dark and quite cloudy late afternoon, JJ. 5 o'clock kickoff, of course. I heard somebody mention during the week they were kicking off at 5 today to have an extra 2 hours to build the stadium.
Well, the cloud over the stadium is suiting the Welsh boys, because the heat this afternoon was quite remarkable. Much cooler here this evening. And a little drizzle, which is welcome for the lads.
I'm sure it's a blessing for the players. It was really warm in the early afternoon. Now then, Neil Jenkins. Yes, he's back on song. Just the one blemish. And Wales deservedly lead by 12 points to 6.
Well, they certainly do. They played some remarkable rugby. She's happy, isn't she? They're all happy here in Wales. And what a sound in this stadium. Well, it's only 27,000 here. Remarkable.
Chavis couldn't take it. You mentioned that Achilles heel. That's Visachi, Kobus Visachi. Mulder placing it back for Nakadrotsky. This is Swanepoel bringing Ted Blanche in. Ted Blanche scored 5 tries a week ago against Italy. That's the first time he's touched the ball this afternoon. That was a new record for South Africa, incidentally. Crossing. I thought it was accidental offside, that he ran into his own man, but Ed Morrison had seen the obstruction as well.
Yes, at the hard decision. Ran into his own man. It wasn't intentional. And scrum to Wales, I would have awarded.
It was Van Straaten who ran in front of the ball carrier and taking out some of the Welsh defenders.
Well, was this intentional? I don't know. He dummied. The boomer there was taking out Rob Howley. Rob Howley did appeal to the referee. Contact was made, so perhaps there was a right decision.
That's the first against the throw in the line-out, and it's gone South Africa's way. Van Straaten, when he's not goal kicking, he wears that headgear, what used to be known as the scrum cap, and now it's been worn by an outside half. Driving forward is Chris Wyatt. They're full of confidence, Wales, and that's what 5 consecutive victories does to a side. Beautifully placed kick by Neil Jenkins.
That's just what the doctor ordered. The forwards want to run forward to this line out. His decision making since Graham Henry has taken over has improved enormously. Decided to take it on his own shoulders and to slot that ball down the corner and now try and compete in the line out.
40 minutes are up. There have been 1 or 2 stoppages for injuries, but nothing very significant. And South Africa have been on the back foot for most of the opening 40. Here comes Drotsky. In it goes. Untidy from Selbone Boom, knocked forward perhaps by Scott Quinnell. Yes, it's set scrum to the Springboks. But JJ, the closing stages of this opening half, and your feelings on the 2 teams' performance?
Well, I'm quite amazed really how Wales has disrupted the Springboks' platforms. The line-out, as you saw there, didn't go well, and the scrummage has been a disaster. And let's look at this scrum now, such an important position, only 15 metres from the Springbok line.
The crowd are calling for the big heave from Wales. It's coming on, and look at David Young, just disrupting his man, and Wales have gained possession. Jenkins, Taylor. Oh, but first time tackling by South Africa. Up comes outside half Van Straaten. The little kick through, and Wales will have to be wary here. Terre Blanche can't keep it alive.
Yes, the Springboks midfield very strong. They're up so fast and they're so vicious with the way they pile into our midfield. Again, that ball was there for the taking to be whipped out, but Muller and Mulder up so quick. And they really who are saving their team at the moment, because the Springbok pack are being destroyed by Wales in the tight phases.
Scott Quinnell, Colin Jarvis behind. That's another missed, but it's come back to Wales, and Jarvis might profit. Gary Jenkins held his head in disgust as they lost the ball, but now here's a chance for Wales. Mark Taylor! Taylor will score! A brilliant end to an opening half that's gone Wales' way. And just at the precise moment, it's Mark Taylor. It's only a second for Wales. How important will that be?
Just what the doctor ordered if you're a Welsh fan. Fantastic rugby. Jarvis first of all driving, and then the ball whipped out, and then Taylor showing his pace, running outside his opposition, score a fantastic try for Wales. It had been set up by Colin Jarvis, but look how often you see an outside centre drift outside another international centre. This man has been the top centre in Britain all season. Remarkable season for him, remarkable pace, big handoff, and what a fantastic try at the right time.
Neil Jenkins has added the extra 2. The whistle blows for half-time, and who would have believed it? It was a historical occasion anyway, as we opened the new Millenium Stadium, and Wales go to the dressing room with a roar of the crowd ringing in their ears, applauding their opening 40 minutes. The remarkable scoreline at the interval: Wales wield the world champion South Africa by 19 points to 6.
Just to confirm, the score is 19-6, not 17-6 there. Extra 2 points. Fantastic. Oh, I was getting a bit excited about the scrimmage before that, but the try, hey.
Well, you know, the pressure has been incredible. You know, that they've The platform has been superb. The scrum, David Young's selection, you know, they disrupted the scrum where they used to, that's their game. You know, it's very similar to the Argentinian. The scrum is the game.
We thought in Argentina that the Pumas had sort of given up on scrummaging, but it obviously indicates that this Welsh pack is now a mean force on any stage.
And also the fact that, you know, Craig Quinnell's gone off. There's a lot of weight loss there, so they can do it without Craig Quinnell now. So, you know, that's a fantastic advantage for the World Cup with strength and depth again. OK, well, let's enjoy the highlight of that first half. Came late, we just slipped into injury time, and Wales struck. Line-out didn't go well to start off with, did it? And then the pick-up by Colin Jarvis. Again, Sinkinson takes the ball away, you know, and Chavo makes a drive. But it's the pass again. It's the depth of the run and the flat pass. Yappy Mulder's there, and he's followed the ball, and he's ball watching. He doesn't see the depth that Mark Taylor comes from, and he's gone round him before he's realised it. The strength, and he's gone high. The pace takes him clear, and that's it, you know. And there's no fullback. You can see the reaction of the Welsh players. It was, again, the brilliant pass of Neil Jenkins and the depth that he hit the ball. You watch him, he's come from depth, he's gone round him, he's ball watching, and the pass has beaten Mulder. Well, we can safely say that one gold ring now goes to Mark Taylor. Yeah, that's right. We know he's worth £1,000, but it's worth a lot more than that. If that gets the result that we need today, it's fantastic. They are rattled. I haven't seen them as rattled before. You know, the scrum's gone, as I've said. Well, I was just thinking there have been no near tries in that opening period until that breakthrough by Mark Taylor. Well, South Africa haven't been in the Welsh 22. They've had no platform, the line out, they can't drive. I think they are definitely missing Henry Honeyball. You know, the creativity that he gives them, he plays flat, you know, he gets the runners, he gets these big centres to run at you, and Van Straaten isn't Henry Honeyball, so they are struggling. And at the moment, I can't see where they can win it. I can't see where South Africa can win it. You know? Steady. We said you were optimistic before the game started, but don't get carried away now. Performance, you know, where's the threat coming from? Percy Montgomery isn't coming into the game, so... All right, we'll be back with more analysis. First, beg your pardon, we're staying here. Jonathan, do keep talking. But first, David Pickering, team manager of Wales, is with Graham Thomas.
David, you must be absolutely delighted with that half, and especially the way you finished.
Yeah, we've got to keep a level head about us. There's been a lot of positive aspects, particularly pleased with the scrummaging, and superb the way the boys took the try. Colin Jarvis showed great pace, and runners we know we can run, and quick ball coming back. We struggled really today to get quick second and third phase ball, but we got it on that one occasion, and Mark Taylor with the big handoff there, size through the middle. Yeah, it's a positive start, but it's only halfway out, and anything can happen in the second half. Boys are very mature about it, they're keeping their heads about it, and just preparing now for the second half, and we expect a fine challenge of the South African team in this half.
You mentioned the scrummaging. Not many South African sides had that many problems in the scrum.
No, it's tremendous credit to the work that Lynn Howells has done with the forwards, and people like Garen Jenkins, who are renowned big scrummagers. They show their worth in that particular area. Di Young's having a big scrummaging game as well, and Peter Rogers determined to play against South Africa and do very well. But it's an 8-man effort really, and the Welsh public must be proud of the way that they've competed and they've performed in the first half. There is room for improvement, however. There are some errors creeping in, and we've noticed one or two lineouts just going astray, so we can't take anything for granted. We keep our feet firmly on the ground, and we've got to fight this half with tremendous tenacity and great courage.
Great, David, thanks very much.
Thank you, Graham.
Back to you, Eddie.
David Pickering, feet on the ground, positive.
That's the word again, and they've got to start the second half now, 0-0. Start again, keep banging them over, not giving them anything, and I can see us winning this.
We'll be back for the second half. Now it is time for the news with Francis Donovan.
Well, tens of thousands of people have been thronging the streets of Cardiff to soak up the atmosphere at the inaugural match at the new Millenium Stadium. The contractors moved out to make way for the game against South Africa, the first time the Welsh team has played on home turf for 2 years. Here's our chief reporter, Penny Roberts.
It's been boom time again in Cardiff city centre as rugby supporters packed the pubs and the streets after 2 years in exile. And though just 27,000 tickets could be sold, the atmosphere kept pace with the historic event.
It's something else being back in Cardiff again, isn't it? And I think particularly today there's a sort of festival atmosphere in town.
It's one of the best stadiums in the world. We're having the World Cup in Wales, and I'm delighted. As a Welshman, I'm very proud to call it my national stadium.
The touts were out in force, confirming the fears of many after the WRU released extra tickets yesterday, but failed to limit the number people could buy.
Most expensive, £150.
And what do you make of that?
Well, I think it's crazy, really.
Road closures turned the city centre into a giant pedestrian precinct. Only the Wales team could get through to the stadium, where they're facing the world champions and playing on unfamiliar territory.
I don't think they'll really be worried about the stadium and, you know, the capacity and everything else. They'll be really concentrating on what they've got to do as individuals and as a team.
Today marks a new era in Welsh sport, but tomorrow the contractors will move back in to finish Wales's Millenium Stadium in time to host the Rugby World Cup. Penny Roberts, BBC Wales Today, Cardiff.
That's news headlines for the moment. The next news will be at 10 o'clock here on BBC One Wales. Back now to the international Scrum 5 team and live coverage of Wales against South Africa.
Welcome back to the Millenium Stadium. The good news at half-time is that Wales are leading. 19 points to 6 against the world champions, the Springboks. It could have been more, Jonathan.
Yes, I felt that you know, the forwards have done extremely well, and Neil Jenkins has controlled the game incredibly.
Missed a penalty.
Yes, he missed one penalty, which is the easiest one he'd be disappointed with, but he had an opportunity of a drop goal, and it was the right decision. It was a slow ball. It was going over. You watch, he gets the ball, no flat. And there's definitely a touch then. Drosky deflects it wide of the post. And that should have been a scrum back for Wales. But, you know, if the forwards can keep on going for this 40 minutes, I am sure that Wales will win this game if they keep the forwards. Because South Africa haven't got any options behind.
OK, teams are back. And time to rejoin Hugh and JJ.
There's a remarkable buzz around this new Millenium Stadium. It seems a comfortable home ground for Wales already, an inspirational ground, and JJ, it's been an inspirational side under Rob Howley's leadership in the opening half.
It's been an immense performance, considering they lost Craig Quinnell after 15 minutes. Mike Vaugh's come on and hasn't affected the scrimmage at all. In fact, I'm amazed how they've destroyed the set pieces of the Springboks. The Springbok line-out on the scrimmage has been quite poor this afternoon.
It's worth mentioning, perhaps, at the start of the game, Wales had more than half a stone a man advantage in the set scrum. The average weight of the Welsh pack was 17.5 stone to the Springboks 16.10. So they're big men wearing those red shirts up front.
Yes, and it hasn't been a free-flowing game. It hasn't been exhausting for the Welsh team. So I'm expecting the first 15 minutes now is so important. They've got to take the game to the Springboks, and Neil Jenkins, as he did superbly first half, has to control the game by kicking this ball down into the corner or to get these missed passes and bring these centres into play.
No replacements as yet for the second half, but it is interesting to see Ollie LaRue, the big burly prop forward, warming up on the far touchline. I wonder if his arrival is imminent. Ed Morrison blows the whistle. The second half gets underway. Gary Jenkins, of all people, claims that first kick straight to ground. It will allow Robert Howley to feed Neil Jenkins, and that's the first kick downfield, and it's a beauty. Before we get too carried away, JJ, it's worth remembering perhaps that Wales led South Africa 14 points to 0 at Wembley at one stage before South Africa came back to clinch a dramatic victory with Andre Fenter's late try and deny Wales their first ever victory. Now they're on the threshold again.
And I'm sure Graham Henry has reminded them that in the dressing room at half-time.
That was Graham Henry's first game in charge. Cranawato's ball, clean ball. The sole representative of the Northern Bulls, Cranawato, in this side, dominated by the Western Province. We have a few from Natal and the Sharks as well, and a few from Griquas, Golden Lions and the Cats. Brodsky, that's Selborne boom, but it goes to Otto in the midline again. Wales hold the initial surge, but here comes South Africa again. And driving through is Teichmann. Teichmann leading from the front. It's out to Drotsky, held by Sinkinson. That's the Welsh 22. It's a positive start to the second half. And through the gap goes Muller. Hauled down from behind. But this is the closest South Africa have been. It came back to Robbie Kempson. Kempson within inches. Swanepoel's behind. Wales have reformed. They've held up the scrum half. It's a penalty against Wales for offside. They want to take it quickly, but they have to be 5 metres back from the try line to take a quick penalty.
Oh, what a tackle by Dai Young. He came in and knocked the Springboks back. That was an amazing tackle.
They take it quickly. Visachi the prop. Held by Colin Jarvis. Again they're within inches and the alarm bells are ringing for Wales. Ringing loudly as Swanepoel turns it back. Sinkinson holds Drotsky. And it's Welsh ball. Welsh arms are raised in triumph. There's a roar as if they'd won the game.
Yeah, Brett Sinkinson, what a tackle. And that's what international rugby's all about, is putting your tackles in.
And look at that set scrummage from Wales. It's bounced clear. But now comes Howley, the big kick in the chase. It's Howley against Montgomery. Howley waits for his man to get back on the feet. And that's the strength of Percy Montgomery. Slippery turf after the little shower of rain. And the penalty. But they've come out in much more determined mood for the second half, South Africa. And that's the sign of true world champions. Peter Rousseau, it's out to Drotsky. Swanepoel sniping. And it's out to Rousseau. The support is in. Teichmann. David James gets in the way. And he holds them at bay, but only just.
Desperate defending by Wales. Outstanding defending. But now the Springboks have taken it up a level. But look at that tackle by Sinkinson. Not just tackle him, he knocks him back. A man can't get the ball to the ground, and it's a turnover. Scrum put into Wales.
Brett Sinkinson and Peter Rogers are the lucky charms in the Welsh side, JJ. They've won every time they've played. 5 caps, 5 victories. Not many players can say that for Wales over the past decade.
But it's again, it's desperate defending by Wales. Teichmann there, flipping the ball out. David James as well. He touches that ball, stops the ball going to Terre Blanche, and then he gets hold of Terre Blanche. I'm not letting you go.
Terre Blanche protested. He was held early. Perhaps he was. But David McKay was right there. He is carrying the flag far side. Howley. A groan from the crowd, but deliberately infield. That's the tactic from Wales these days. Erasmus is out. Van Straaten bullocking his way upfield. Swanepoel again. The crowd thought it went forward. It has now, surely. But Wales are offside. It's Gareth Thomas right out on the right wing. Penalty, South Africa. Teichmann comes across.
But this is an important part of the game, because the Springboks have taken the game up to a new level. And if Wales can just hold them out now the next few minutes, then possibly they can survive. But the Springboks have certainly improved the second half.
Morrison goes over to David McHugh. David McHugh has noted a little bit of footwork on the man on the ground. And Ed Morrison is looking towards South Africa. So this could be a reversal. And it's Rassie Erasmus, number 7, who's been called aside. Johan Erasmus on the winning side, a try scorer at Pretoria 12 months ago. A man who came into the South African side for the final test against the Lions. But he's cost his team a golden chance of 3 points or even more.
And that's a let-off for Wales. But that's international rugby. You have to be so disciplined nowadays with the test judges watching every move you make. Well, let's look at Erasmus there, number 7. Seems stamp all over Dai Young there on the floor, and that's what the penalty was given away for.
David McHugh has followed South Africa over the past fortnight. He ran the line for both their tests against Italy at Port Elizabeth and Durban. Jenkins out into midfield. And that's the man who's feeling better than anyone on the field. That's Mark Taylor, out Peter Rogers, Shane Howarth. He tried to get David James to come inside. Realised that there was limited space on that left-hand touchline.
I like the way Peter Rogers handed that ball on then. He thought he might have charged, but there was an overlap there. David James not having any space at all. Good defending by the Springboks.
Narka-Drotsky. In it comes, claimed by Otto, under pressure from Wyatt. Good to see Wales contesting that line out. New Zealand did that against France earlier to great effect. That's Robbie Kempson. 17 stone plus of prop forward, charging up, and that's Rassie Erasmus again. Van Straaten. Erasmus claims Howard's kick. Teichmann looked to touch forward that pass, but play goes on. Swanepoel. Standing out is Yappy Mulder. Mulder through the gap. And now this is Ted Blanche. Ted Blanche knocks it forward in the tackle, surely. Play goes on. Try is awarded. The Springboks have their try. Their supporters delighted.
Well, this is where the damage was done. It's right down the middle by the big centre. And there's desperate defending by Wills then. Initially they stop it. Great tackle by Neil Jenkins. But how does this ball come back? Howley wanted to pop that ball up. But I think it was... Well, it was a Swanepoel who was given to him in the end. A mistake by Wills. The Springboks have put tremendous pressure on Wills in the second half. But look at Mulder slides through here. Big, strong man. Peter Rogers couldn't tackle him. And then this pass here was a good one. Wills got back to stop this. An outstanding tackle by Neil Jenkins. But even though Rob Howley goes back, picks this ball up, the ball is thrown astray, and then the points are given away. Watched by Robert Howley, picks it up, wanted to give it back to David James, didn't find his man, and Swanepoel pounces on it.
South Africa are right back in the game. The crowd are showing their dissatisfaction. They're not happy. They thought the ball went forward, but the important opinion was Ed Morrison's. And it's a try for Werner Swanepoel, carrying on where Joos van der Westhuizen leaves off.
Well, Muller did well then to get that ball out of Howley's hands and knock Howley's hands, but he wanted to nip that ball up to David James.
Wales 19, South Africa 11. Good clearance kick. And it is noticeable, the Southern Hemisphere countries go for touch from defensive positions, JJ. It's a myth that they never kick the ball and never kick it dead. They do. We saw New Zealand do it today, we saw Australia do it today. But we, here in Wales and in the Northern Hemisphere, now try to keep the ball alive all the time.
Yes, a little bit too much and play into the opposition's hands. A kick downfield, compete to the line out. You can't complain with that, can you?
Great ball from Wyatt again. There's a change. Andre Venter is on in the back row instead of Conor Krieger. And we've got changes in the front row as well. Ollie Leroux is on at loose head, and that's no surprise. Ollie Leroux is wearing 21. He's a massive man, Ollie Leroux. .5 stone, 6 foot. Its favourite food, by the way, is a double mega cheese wimpy burger, and it shows.
A cheese wimpy burger, no point in him going to Buenos Aires, is it?
Ollie Leroux is on for his 16th cap, and it's Robbie Kempson who's left. Venter is on vastly experienced. It's his 35th cap. Scorer of 2 tries in Pretoria a year ago, and of the vital clincher at Wembley as well. Are they looking at Andre Venter as their lucky charm for the second half? One wonders. Oh, they've got the bit between their teeth now. Their tails are up, South Africa. And it's Wales' turn now to soak up the pressure. It's gone forward. And the 27,000 crowd are doing their utmost to lift this Welsh side and keep them ahead of the world champions. Howley's away quickly. South Africa not the required 10 metres. That's the easiest way of gaining ground in a rugby field. Blanche and Wales just for a moment are looking a bit ragged. I couldn't understand that decision from Robert Howley. He had a full penalty second time. Why not boot it into opposition territory, gain the ground and win the line out?
Yes, especially as Chris White is doing so well in the lines out, really. Don't panic, then just keep playing rugby.
And if those were the footballing skills of Chris Wyatt, no wonder he turned to rugby. Nakadrotsky finds Gary Teichmann. Swanepoel. Erasmus. Oh, and that's from Straaten. This is good play. Krenawato to Venter again. A hint of a forward pass inside. Teichmann has broken away. The pass is in. Right on the line, but they can't get it down for their second try. It's a scrum 5, and Wales breathe again.
Again, another brilliant tackle by Neil Jenkins, stopping a certain try. But the Springboks are rampant at the moment. The man who's doing the damage is Van Straaten, who's been punched through the middle. But this time it is Teichmann. If he could have got that ball out quicker, there was a certain try on. And Neil Jenkins comes in and makes this tackle with Bateman.
This time it's Wales go down. And there's a big turnaround in this game. Desperate defence by Wales. And as you said, the Springboks are rampant. Great double tackle. They held the man in the right off the ground. And Wales get the ball and clear. Absolutely magnificent defence by the red shirts.
Well, Rassie Erasmus then I thought was a certain try scorer. I think it's Robert Howley. Was Andrew, or was it? I'm looking at someone running back. Mike Voyle, was it under there? Yes, it was Mike Voyle. Tremendous tackle. Not only that, they ripped the ball out of Erasmus's hands.
An absolutely vital ball to win in the defensive situation to ease the pressure. But that magnificent last-ditch defence has taken its toll, and the man suffering is Brett Sinkinson.
But to win international matches at this level, you have to defend well, and that's exactly what Wales have done this second half. And this is a real test for them. And so far, they're doing well, holding the Springboks out. But what pressure they're under.
That try, fortuitous as it was, has really lifted the Springboks. The spring in their step that wasn't evident in the opening half, and the game has seen a transformation. The game goes on, although Sinkinson is still receiving treatment. So Wales are down to 14 men, and Otto is tipped up in the line-out, tackled before he gained the ground. And I wonder, will Teichmann want 3 points? He's turned to Van Straaten, and now Van Straaten in turn looks to Montgomery. That suggests a left-footed kick into the corner.
The leg's been taken away there by Otto, the big second row for the Springboks.
It is dangerous when big men come down from a big height, then damage can be caused, and referees are rightly vigilant. That's Otto again. He's had a fine second half, Chrono Otto. Trotsky looking for a way through, but he went into his own man, and that's accidentally offside. Little things can change the course of a game. Quinnell bursting away from the base. He's made 10 metres and put Wales on the front foot. Howley to Jenkins. He had to hurry under pressure from Fenter. And Rousseau just let it go. Didn't want to risk a Welsh throw at the line-out. There's another change from South Africa. Hafidou Toit is on, and Bram van Straaten has left. Well, both halfbacks have been taken off. Werner Swanepoel has gone as well, and on is David van Husslen. The Griekers and the Cats halfbacks are on. That's Van Husslen at scrum half, and Hafidou Toit at outside half. That's one to Wales against the throw. That's their first this afternoon. Jenkins, Bateman, gobbled up by Guffey du Toit.
But he's done so well in the line this afternoon. I think there's a bit of climbing there. But he's done so well in the line this afternoon. I think there's a bit of climbing there. In fact, the penalty could have gone against Wales.
Van Husslen at scrum half. His only caps came in the games against Italy. Wales are penalised. That's against Peter Rogers for coming up in that set scrum.
Got Peter Rogers that breaks up quickly, and that's where the penalty is going away. I think the Springboks would have preferred the advantage from there.
We're approaching the midway point of the second half. 20 minutes are up on the watch. That's a crucial man for South Africa. That's Chrono Otto, the man from the Northern Bulls. Fenter is an accomplished line-out man as well, and it goes to him. Teichmann standing off. More and more into the picture in the second half, the skipper Gary Teichmann. Fenter in right behind him. That's to Toit. Van Husslen searching, the kick throw is intercepted. Wales are offside. It all counts for nothing. Wales are offside right in front of the posts. There were hands used as well on the ground. Bateman suffered from the late challenge, but the net result is a penalty at point-blank range for South Africa.
Well, there was pulling back, there's hands on the ground, all sorts of things there. I thought the stamping there by the Springboks is unnecessary, which have been penalised earlier in the game, but this time, see Otto, number 5, has been ignored by the touch judges. The penalty is going away for the hands in the ruck there.
That's why the Welsh crowd are howling once again. And for the late challenge on Alan Bateman. But slowly but surely, South Africa are clawing their way back into this game. And that is ominous from a Welsh point of view. It's happened before. Is it happening again? Toit, 57 points in 3 internationals before today. Here he comes, he can't miss from there, and he doesn't. Wales 19, South Africa 14, and the world champions are back within 5 points, back within a try. He scored 45 points in the 2 internationals against Italy over the past fortnight. His other cap came against Ireland last year at Bloemfontein. And there is a big feeling now, the Springboks are sensing that they can come back once again and pinch a victory from Wales. Forward pass, and Peter Rousseau is denied. He can't believe it. Percy Montgomery can't believe it. That's one of the few decisions to go Wales's way in the second half.
Well, it was marginal, I must say that. Well, that second pass looked more forward from Montgomery. But to be fair to the referee, Ed Morrison, was right on the spot there.
And the pictures seem to prove him right as well. Dai Young has been twisted right around in that set scrum. Now what happened there? That doesn't happen to David Young. 33rd cap for Wales today. A Lion twice in Australia in '89 and in South Africa 2 seasons ago.
Yes, he's had a big game, Dai Young, but possibly the time now is to put Ben Evans onto this field. He's been exhausted for the scrimmaging.
Sorry, he's hardly played a full game all season, David. Quinnell is through the first tackle, still going. Tremendous surge by the Welsh number 8. Up they come outside. Jenkins, Gareth Thomas, he's in the corner. Oh, the smile of delight. We saw it at Wembley when he scored the yearly Welsh try. He's put Wales 24-14 ahead, and that's his 19th international try.
Well, Scott Quinnell again, fantastic driving from the base of the scrum, sets it back. Now watch this pass by Neil Jenkins. The forwards do well to let that go. Chris Wyatt as well to leave that go. Jenkins takes the ball, flips the ball out to Gareth Thomas, and he has the speed and the strength to go over for a very, very important try.
That could be one of the most important tries that Wales have scored in a century of international rugby.
But watch Quinnell here. He's driving those extra few metres again, which means they've all got to come in for him when he goes those extra few metres. He wriggles to lay the ball back. Now watch how Wyatt leaves the ball go. Good play by him. He was taken out on a fabulous pass by Jenkins. Gives Thomas the overlap, and he takes it.
That is only the 9th try scored by Wales in almost a century of international rugby against South Africa. This the 13th game. They've never outscored South Africa in tries. Jenkins. Oh, that's wonderful. Another remarkable fact, the only successful conversion for Wales before today was Arwel Thomas's in Pretoria a year ago. Only 1 conversion in 12 games. Now Neil Jenkins has got 2, and Wales are up to 26 points to 14.
We mentioned Quinnell and the rest of them, but the pass by Howley was also a gem for that try.
That's a towering kick by Jenkins, well collected by Percy Montgomery. Drills it upfield. Now if that goes dead, it's a scrum back, and it is. It's a scrum back where Montgomery launched it downfield, and that's a massive 70-metre gain for Wales.
Amazing atmosphere in the stadium. The sounds, I can't believe there's only 27,000 people here. What a lift they've given to the players.
They sense that Wales are on the verge of something great. something that they've never ever achieved before. Out into midfield, Shane Howarth is up, Gareth Thomas is over. Oh, what a tackle from Stefan Terblanche. Cut down David James in his tracks, but Wales have the penalty. They've got to move away from the tackle. That's what Ed Morrison says.
This was amazing defending there.
It was Montgomery, in fact, and not Terblanche.
Yeah, but look at Montgomery, plays the ball on the ground and gives the penalty away. Now then, if Neil Jenkins gets this kick over, that means they're 3 scores ahead. Or they'll need 3 scores to win this game, the Springboks. But see him on the floor, Montgomery, he's wriggling with the ball. Of course, that is the penalty, and of course, the rest of the Springboks come off the top. So it is correct decision by Ed Morrison. But what a tackle by Montgomery, that's amazing.
I said he'd been working on his upper body strength, JJ, and the proof of the pudding was in the tackle. Neil Jenkins lines it up. He's looking, he's turned his back, the kick is there! Wales 29, South Africa 14. And that 15-point gap, the 15-point difference, means that Wales are 3 scores ahead. And we have just 12 minutes remaining on the watch. Magnificent take by Chris Wyatt, and Wales seem to have weathered the storm, the considerable storm of the 3rd quarter when South Africa were rampant. They conceded a soft try. That's Shane Howarth. This is Terblanche. Welsh ball. And the crowd and the Welsh players have seen an offence. I wonder, has Joel Dume seen it as well? In comes Joel Dume, the Frenchman. Oh, look at that. That is terrible. That really is terrible. It was Conor Krieger, the number 6, in fact, the man who captained South Africa last week. No wonder the Welsh side were incensed. It's the official warning for Conor Krieger. It's only his 2nd cap, and what a difference 2 Saturdays make. Captained South Africa to a record score against Italy just a week ago. Now he's on the receiving end and received the yellow card as well.
Terblanche, so strong and powerful and so elusive, but look at Singer's upper body strength, taking him, driving him back.
Scott Quinnell is immense in this period. That's Jenkins. Taylor's broken the tackle. A wonderful weaving run by Mark Taylor of Swansea. Wales had no scrum half. Howley was tied up right at the bottom of the maul itself. But that's gone nowhere from South Africa. Offside Wales. Joel Dume, who came in incidentally there when Conor Krieger was stamping, is the only man to have sent anybody off in a game between Wales and South Africa. And the man he sent off was Gary Jenkins, the Welsh hooker today, who came on as a replacement flank forward out at Ellis Park some 4 seasons ago and was sent off for punching Joost van der Westhuizen. Now then, what are the secret thoughts?
Yeah, he must be looking for substitutions. Ben Evans, as I said, but these boys are playing so well at the moment, perhaps he doesn't want to change a winning formula.
Gary Teichmann soaring high. Nakadrotsky used his own man. That was the formidable figure of Ollie Leroux, just to shield him. Van Hooslin. And behind is Corner Krieger. It's all a little slow. Javi de Toit has a little snipe, but gets nowhere. Welsh defence again is outstanding. Ball has gone to ground, said Ed Morrison, so it is South Africa to have the put-in at the set scrimmage.
Yes, I'm surprised it took Van Straaten off the Springboks, because he was looking very menacing in the beginning of the second half. And he's such a powerful outside half, and he's breaking through that line. Du Toit is a different sort of outside half, more elusive. And they certainly have lost a little spark since Straaten's gone off the field. But there we are, there's proof of the put-in and the raking he took.
That'll bring the crowds in, JJ. Van Hooslin, 32 minutes, 40 seconds are up. Percy Montgomery coming from deep through Bateman's first tackle. Van Hooslin turning on a sixpence, but can't get away from Mike Voyle. That's Venter. Well, that was a massive chance by Leroux, right through Jenkins, flattened the Welsh hooker. South Africa 20 metres out. That's knocked forward. Peter Rousseau had a little bash at playing scrum half, and an unsuccessful one at that. Wales 29, South Africa 14. The world champions trailing by 15 points. Wales on the verge of a momentous victory and of restoring Northern Hemisphere pride on a day when England and France have been beaten by Australia and New Zealand respectively. But let's not count the chickens. That's Peter Rousseau. Wales have stolen it. It's a Welsh scrum. Rousseau, who scored 3 tries at Loftus, but this is a year ahead, and this is a different occasion.
Well, there was an overlap there. Montgomery got lost, really. Rousseau should have just looked for him outside. A chance gone missing, must be said, by the Springboks. The three quarters have looked very pedestrian at times. They haven't brought in Teblanche and Rousseau and Montgomery on the outside enough in this game, and they've been wasted, really. The wingers have had to go and look for work. They're very disappointed with the Springbok midfield.
Peter Rogers, what an occasion for him. A man who at one time had hopes of being a Springbok, returned to his native Wales. And there's a little change in the set scrum in the second half. And some of the Welsh front row have been looking to the touchline over the past few minutes, JJ. Jenkins gesturing, half suggesting that they needed a replacement in that front three.
Yeah, so well, Ben Evans is off his seat and he is beginning to warm up, I think.
South Africa keeping the pressure on Wales. They've used their replacements. They've brought on a new pair of halfbacks. They've got Ollie Leroux and Andre Venter for Robbie Kempson and Selborne Boom up front. Venter in at lock forward. They're looking for the experienced old heads. But time is drifting away from Gary Tuisman's team. That's a penalty to South Africa, surely. Is Ed Morrison playing advantage? Van Hooslin to Du Toit. That's Peter Muller. Again Van Oostlin, but he can't find his way through. Darting and ducking little run, but the Welsh defence stood firm. But here's a major test. Montgomery's through, and that's a second Springbok try. Shane Howard sat with a look of anguish on his face as Montgomery went outside him. And there's still hope late on for the world champions.
Well, at last they're bringing in Montgomery. I said earlier they haven't used him enough. This man is very elusive and strong, and really Howard would be disappointed to get hold of him there, but this man is a fantastic player, and that's a good try by the Springboks.
13th try in international rugby for Percy Montgomery.
You see Rousseau was in midfield where Howard had hold of him and let him go. He'd be disappointed, but I say you've got to give credit to Percy Montgomery.
In the Springboks handbook, JJ, they have the favourite sayings of their players. And Montgomery's favourite saying is, life is about options, be adventurous. And it brought his prize for the Springbok fullback. The gap is down to 10 points. The watch is ticking up to 38 minutes. Surely, Wales are not to be denied. This is their 13th attempt against South Africa. The first game played way back in 1906 at St Helens Ground in Swansea. And Springbok dominance has been absolutely complete against Wales throughout the century. But now, in the final year of that century and that millennium, victory, their first victory, is tantalisingly close for Robert Howley and his team. The throw strayed Springbok's way. That gives Conor Krieger the chance to run at Wales. There's still spring in their step, there's still hope in their heart. Although we are now approaching the final minute of 40, that's gone forward. Jaapie Mulder will have to come back. There's no try for him. He scored against Wales in 95. He hasn't done so in 99. We're in the final minute, JJ. The final minute of the final year of the 20th century.
Well, surely Wales can't be denied a victory, and they've deserved it because they've worked so hard. The defence second half has been magnificent. The line out and scrum has been superb, as it has been for most of the season. What a transformation in Welsh rugby over the last 12 months, due to Graham Henry and his coaching staff.
Jenkins to clear.
And what a difference Graham Henry has done to Neil Jenkins. He's a different player playing under Graham Henry, controlling the game superbly. He's been outstanding. For me, though, the outstanding player in the Welsh team today has been Scott Quinnell. I think he's been immense the way he's driven, picked up this ball and driven out the Springboks. Oh, what tense moments this is.
A deafening roar.
Into a world-class team.
Andrew Lewis has come on for Peter Rogers. Sad in a way that Rogers, with so many South African affiliations, is not there at the end. He's done his work. The Welsh scrimmage in the opening half was tremendous and a great launching pad for what now seems certain to be a historic victory on a historic day. Jenkins, he sighted a drop goal again. He's hit it well, but as it drifted just past, it has. And Montgomery will want to keep the ball alive. He'll attack from behind his own line, but he's got no support. It has to come back to the 22. Nakadrotsky takes it. This is Peter Muller. Muller has been there ever since South Africa came back from isolation. Muller played with Danny Gerber in their first game back. He's still there. That's been knocked forward. Advantage being played. I thought both sides had knocked it forward. But here goes Montgomery, chased by the fresh legs of Andrew Lewis of Cardiff. Is this the last surge from South Africa? And Wales have tackled their hearts out, and they're doing so right to the end. Up comes Rousseau. Peter Rousseau, trailed by Jenkins. Marvellous tackle by Howard. And Wales have pinched the ball through Alan Bateman. It's gone forward. It's South Africa ball. And 43 minutes have been played.
Well, again, Neil Jenkins chasing back there, but out to Shane Howard that time. With an outstanding tackle, a crucial tackle. You see, they're getting back there. It's an excellent tackle. They're stopping the Springboks. Wales working so hard for this victory. Which they're going to get.
John Humphreys takes over from Gary Jenkins. Great rivals, great friends, great competitors.
Yeah, well done, Gary Jenkins. Fantastic contribution this last half of the season.
The second half penalties have gone against Wales in the set scrum. It was the other way in the opening 40. Van Huslin trying to wriggle his way up to that Welsh 22 and beyond. Again, it's a set scrum. Again, it's South Africa ball. And again, the crowd are whistling for full time. They want to start their celebrations in earnest. They can't wait for that final whistle from Ed Morrison. Scott Quinnell is leading the massed voices. He's calling for support to ring around the Millenium Stadium. That is Cardiff Arms Park. Up comes Montgomery. Superb tackle by Mark Taylor. Happy de Toit has lost the ball. Ed Morrison blows the final whistle. And that is one of the most remarkable results in the long history of Welsh rugby. What a turnaround from the humiliation of Loftus Versfeld 12 months exactly ago. It's a historic result on a historic occasion. Wales have christened the new Millenium Stadium in the best possible way. Their first ever victory over South Africa. They've been trying right throughout the century. At last it's been achieved. Robert Howley's team have gloriously earned themselves a full chapter of the history books. They've beaten the Springboks, and Graham Henry's team have really arrived on the world scene. Remember the score, it'll be there for years to come. The first ever victory against South Africa. Wales have won by 29 points to 19. J.J. Williams, what a day, what a result, and what a victory.
Oh, I can't believe it. It's amazing, really. We're now back as a world force. We've got the best stadium in the world, and now we can compete in the World Cup. We have the setup. The boys are taking in the applause, and do they deserve it? France, England, Argentina, and now South Africa. Absolutely superb.
Remember South Africa's recent record. They scored 100 points just a week ago. They've won 19 of their last 20 games, 18 of 19 under Nick Mallett, their coach. They destroyed Wales, 96 points to 13, 12 months ago at Loftus Versfeld in Pretoria. Now the tables are turned in the most remarkable and extraordinary way. Wales, with tries from Taylor and Thomas, and 19 points from Neil Jenkins. Tries for Swanepoel and Montgomery for South Africa. But it wasn't enough. Wales are all smiles. They're jubilant. It is their finest hour. The final score then. On a day that will be remembered forever. The stadium is opened and Wales are back on the world stage. Graham Henry is the man. He doesn't show his emotions easily. The embrace for his skipper, Robert Howley. His 11th victory in 16 games in charge. 6 on the trot for Wales. France and England and Italy. 2 in Argentina. And now the greatest crown, the greatest scalp of all. They've beaten the world champion South Africa. From a delighted J.J. Williams and Hugh Llewellyn-Davies, we return you to an equally delighted, I'm sure, Jonathan Davis and Eddie Butler.
Well, they thought it was going to be a game too far, and it's just turned out to be the perfect stepping stone towards the World Cup, Jonathan.
Well, absolutely fantastic. I can't believe it, you know. I said that we defended so well in the first half, but they came out and they cut us to ribbons the first 20 minutes of the first half. But we held in there and we had the resolve to come back.
Okay,
it was fantastic.
Unbelievable win, just because the South Africans came out, they drove those line-outs to the start of the second half.
I know.
Anyway, never mind us. How about the Welsh captain?
Rob, the first Welsh captain ever to lead a team to victory over South Africa. You must be ecstatic.
Oh, unbelievable. You know, I'm just really pleased. You know, the squad's worked very hard. Even the boys who gone to Argentina put their business into, you know, for that happen today. And, you know, tails before half-time is a crucial try. I think it put us 13 points in front, and we knew then second half they were going to chuck everything at us. And our defence, in fairness, you know, we defended very well.
You had to weather something of a crisis after half-time, but you showed great strength of character at that stage.
Yeah, they're not the world champions for no reason, are they? We knew half-time going in with you know, a good lead. We knew second half, the first 15 minutes, they're going to chuck everything at us, and you know they targeted around fringes to come through with you know the likes of Venter, Teichmann, but you know our defence was awesome, especially you know on our line. We kept them out, which proved significant in the end.
And if you have that kind of support during the World Cup, then anything's possible.
Oh well, you know it's great for you know rugby to be back in the capital city, Cardiff, isn't it? For the boys to appreciate you know all the support they've given us up at Wembley. Rob, it's nice that we can do it here.
Thanks very much.
Cheers,
Enjoy the
thanks.
night.
Cheers.
Back to you.
Rob Howley, bit pleased.
Say the least. You know, like we were in South Africa 12 months ago and we lost 96 points, and the turnaround has been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And you know the tackles that Rob mentioned there, Sinkinson put a brave tackle in. You know that the work for the tries. It was just an overall fantastic performance.
Okay, well that's it. That's a wonderful start to the life at the new Millennium Stadium from all of us here. Goodbye.